Yo, family, what's good and welcome back to another daily crypto and Casper live stream. Apologies for not being live yesterday. I had no internet. There was maintenance all day from 1 a.m. Sunday to Monday, but we have got internet back now and felt good to touch some grass to some extent, but also now looking at the market chart, we are continuing to fall further down. We're going to get into that in this stream. I've got quite a nice collection of interesting Casper updates, some FUD as well. Some other third party has now expressed his distrust for the KEF, which aligns with what Shai had been telling us a long time back as well. We'll talk about that as well. And ultimately highlight once again that while this is bearish and FUD and not good news, we have to remember once again that the KEF is not Kaspa. They are two separate things. Kaspa can survive without the KEF. The KEF cannot survive without Kaspa. So remember, they're not the same thing. The FUD of the KEF, while will negatively impact Kaspa as a sentiment around the project, they are not the same thing. We'll get into that this stream, along with some other stuff as well, and ultimately why the markets are correcting right now. As always, family, if you enjoy the content, leave a like, share with your friends, subscribe for more, turn on that post notification bell so you know when we're going live. And yeah, let's get into the content. Before we do that, welcome back, Greg. Hope you're doing very well. Although on phones for work through Wednesday, so I'll have to watch it on replay later. I appreciate you either way for tuning in and just letting us know you're present. Welcome back, bro. Hopefully work's not too pressing for you and you get some nice and necessary time off soon. Partial CME gap fill though between $91,970 Bitcoin is a full gap to fill. The weekly level, cycle level will probably be when CME closes the dumb gap, in my opinion. Yes, we're actually going to talk a little bit on that right now. When it's not into that exact technical element of that, but yes, we will be talking about the fact that Bitcoin's correcting, how it does seem to be at potential support level right now. We'll see if it holds that or if it goes a little bit further below. Time will tell, of course. But what I wanted to actually cover first and foremost is good news and bad news, and also kind of a general sentiment onto why the markets are acting the way they are. So as Dr. Martin Heisberg puts it here, I have some bad news and good news. The bad news is that the technical analysis team has told him that Bitcoin just printed a death cross today, which is not good news. You know, historically speaking, the death cross normally means we're now going back into a bear cycle. The death cross occurs when the 50-day moving average of an asset price falls below its 200-day moving average, often interpreted as a bearish technical signal indicating potential downward momentum in the medium term, which just means medium term is, you know, short term would be, I'd say, anything, you know, the next month or two. Medium term is anything above that. Long term, I say anything past a year or so. The good news though is, as the following chart shows, that is completely meaningless. So we can look at this chart here. The dates here highlight April 9th, 2014, September 4th, 2014, every single time we saw Bitcoin after a death cross. And you can see in certain instances, like in September 4th, 2014, it was just bad. It was just terrible. Similarly, we saw quite negative price action for Bitcoin in 2019. Terrible on 2022 in January. However, while it is an indicator that many people tend to use to determine that Bitcoin's going to be going into some bearish trends, we can see here this analysis here is proven that this technical analysis is not a silver golden bullet. It's not the be all and end all. Last time we saw that was April 7th, 2025, Liberation Day, to which since then Bitcoin has been only up since. September 12th, 2023, we saw again that same situation where Bitcoin only went up. There are some situations where Bitcoin has come down, and in 2022 again it was very terrible, but it's not an absolute indication therefore, which is also why I don't completely downplay the significance of TA and indicators like day moving averages or whatever it may be. But for me, when I do my analysis of market charts, I can simply, maybe it's due to my artistic nature, but I can recognize patterns. in regards to levels. And and it's kind of highlighted in this chart right now for Bitcoin. I can highlight here where you have historically seen levels of support and or resistance for Bitcoin. So you can see that here, these are zones that I drew out, weeks and weeks, even months back now. You can see Bitcoin was rejected up here, 107K, which was, as the chart suggests. Equally found some support here around the 101K, equally around here at 98K. It's fallen below that right now, found support a little bit at 94K, and now it's falling a little bit lower. So it could very well be on track to find support maybe around this 91K, as Dirk was saying earlier. Equally, it may be coming down a little bit further to the supports down here of 87K, 88K. Also, we spoke about as well, considering that, again, as you look through history, Bitcoin tends to go through a big 30% correction. It's not uncommon to see. But my whole premise here is that technical analysis, not useless. It's not useless. It's not by any means useless, but I don't think it should be treated as the holy grail. I think fundamentals matter a hell of a lot more. And that's something that the Coin Bureau mentioned very recently as well. Now, in regards to why crypto is correcting, this summary from the KYC letter gives us quite a good insight as to why. It basically is just a whole building off of what we saw on October 10th, the biggest liquidation event in crypto history, where since then we have seen over $1.1 trillion liquidated from crypto. That's insane, considering crypto is, right now saying about just above 3 trillion, I believe. But that is ridiculous how much we saw, over 1 trillion, over a quarter of our entire market cap liquidated in the span of a little over a month. So by all means, negative news, and does no wonder why the FUD has been, we're extreme fear right now in the crypto markets. You can see right now 17, and in fact we have been at 1, or not 1, we've been at 10. So apparently, though, according to the KYC letter, this is a structural move. There's nothing to be too concerned about. The decline has been strange for one key reason, because there hasn't been any material bearish developments on the fundamental side of crypto. Trump just said a few days ago that America is going to be the number one in crypto as his top priority, yet Bitcoin is down 25% in 1 month. It seems to be more so by design, in a sense, according to what they're talking about, and it's because so many traders are just simply over leveraged. Every single time we see a massive correction, people are like, oh, this is the bottom now, and they leverage, and it gets liquidated time and time and time again. As a result, when these sudden downswings happen in crypto, liquidations surge. We can see on October 10th, the biggest liquidation event in crypto history, saw $19.2 billion liquidated, a $20,000 correction, or 20,000 Bitcoin daily candlestick. Insane stuff ultimately, and yeah, we can see the extreme fear got completely out of control. And we can see now this is in accordance to Kobe here. The start of a structural shift in crypto, maybe going through this massive transformation now, this tipping point right now, because originally Bitcoin was following quite closely to gold, we can see. And then we saw that mass liquidation event, and since then Bitcoin has just been terrible, and gold has outperformed Bitcoin quite comfortably. Even Ethereum performed badly, and we've seen a lot of losses. The long and short of it, which is going to build into our next part as well, also why the markets are correcting today. The reality is that the M2 money supply is now at a record $137 trillion. And Japan, they are preparing for roughly $110 billion in stimulus, which they said, I think it's 17 trillion yen, which is insane. So the way the KYC letter perceives it, and I would care to agree, is this downturn is mere growing pains for crypto as this financial market becomes more mature, is becoming more widely adopted and accepted. We're just seeing these kind of major pullbacks kind of setting the stage for hopefully that major recovery. And if you want to look at it another way as well, while many have been calling for bear cycle coming any moment now, by and large, yes, we're in a bull cycle. Bitcoin has been rallying, but when it comes to altcoins, if anything, they've done nothing all of 2025. Most altcoins, if not all of them, made their peak in January, like Bitcoin and crypto did in January here. And Bitcoin came down, Liberation Day sparked a lot of concerns, and Bitcoin's continued to rally up, and it's going through this whole, roller coaster ride. But altcoins since Liberation, January 1st, or since Trump, took office around January 20th, most altcoins have, apart from, some niche exceptions, but they have struggled to surpass that all-time high. Zebek was a little niche, but look at Omdu. You've had so many assets, Sui, who had these massive run-ups in January and have struggled to actually make a recovery since. Virtuals as well. Quant, just beforehand. H-bar. All these assets made a massive run and then stopped. So altcoins, by and large, have been in I would say, a bear cycle, if anything. I'm not saying we're in a bear cycle, that's not the point of what I'm saying here, but we haven't seen altcoins run at all. And we are seeing institutions finally getting their feet wet with the release of ETF files. You've got XRP ETF, I think just got launched. Canary Capital launched their first XRP ETF a few days back, I believe it was. And there should be another one coming out imminently, with many, many more from 21 Shares, Bitwise, Grayscale, and so on and so forth. Solana's got an ETF filing. Litecoin has an ETF filing. I think Adira HBAR has one as well. So you're seeing more ETF filings starting to come out. Now the government shutdown is over. The SEC should now have the manpower to start approving more of its ETF filings as well. So we could see a potential spree coming through. And also the market structure bill, crypto regulations. I made a post here. Now is not the time to be bearish on crypto or Kaspa. We are about to see clear regulations for the first time coming to crypto in history, and it's just few weeks, few months away from now. So truth be told, now is the time where you should be positioning yourself for the future. That doesn't necessarily mean that you got to buy these dips. Because again, I'm not a financial advisor, not financial advice. You do your own research, you trade at your discretion, but it means you've got to position yourself. Whether that means physically or mentally, prepare yourself for where retail is no longer front-running institutions. Because that institution is going to come in, they're going to quickly take over, and they already are taking over. So what you need to do, at least from my perspective, is you need to learn what these institutions have planned for crypto, so you know where the money is going when the institutional floodgates have fully opened. So time to lock in, don't be emotional, and be logical, which is again why I have my VIP group here. We're covering a lot of alpha documentation. We have our VIP roundtable earlier today. We covered a lot of in-depth insights regarding what's happening in the markets right now, what to look forward to, as well as the institutional sentiment and how the narrative is quite quickly shifting to the need for scalability, which I would like to believe is a great shout for Kaspa, therefore, being the most scalable, decentralized, and secure asset in this space. Time will tell, though. If you want to find that sort of stuff out, join the VIP here, 7-day free trial, all the links down below in the description. But I have to circle back real quickly. So, Death Cross is nothing to be too concerned about, at least according to history. We are now seeing potentially the growing pains of crypto coming to an end, and we're going to start seeing crypto going through that reversal. The reason why the markets are currently correcting is actually, in my belief, because of Japan. I'm sure there are ample of reasons, but one for me, I think, is Japan. Bank of Japan is considering spending $110+ billion, so 17 trillion yen, on a new stimulus package due to Japanese yen falling to a near 35-year low. And the bonds, Japanese 20 and I think 10-year government bonds, have risen to levels we haven't seen in a very, very long time. The 20-year since 1999, the 10-year I think was 2008 financial crisis. So we're now seeing Japanese yields increase exponentially off the back of the belief there's going to be a stimulus package coming through very, very soon. So what does that mean? It means that the sentiment has now shifted more towards risk off as opposed to risk on, because this is going to significantly impact the yen carry trade, which is the process where investors basically take out loan stuff in the yen because it's cheaper. It's a lot cheaper to do so. With the Japanese interest rates, the bonds increasing in interest, it means they're going to have to pay back a premium when their term's up. So it's not ideal. So it does therefore mean that you're going to see probably start seeing a more sentiment shift towards risk off, probably more towards Japanese yen as well right now, as opposed to the US dollar. Hence why the markets are struggling. But again, to talk about what the KYC that we're talking about here, this does mean you'll see an increase in liquidity, global liquidity, which in itself would mean you see an increase in the M2 money supply, making all-time highs continuously. So again, short-term pain for hopefully longer-term gains in the medium to long term. That is currently what I am envisioning and what we're looking at in the market chart. Of course, we covered that in a lot more in-depth analysis in our VIP earlier. But as it stands right now, further pullbacks are definitely possible. More headwinds are on the table. So by no means are we out of the woods just yet. But all the overwhelming macro data suggests that we should still be seeing a bottom of sorts coming in, and hopefully a reverse rally back up soon enough. We'll keep a close eye on it though, and we'll let everybody know what our thoughts are. And again, you'll get real-time updates in regards to also the macroeconomic data and reports coming up this week. That's also going to be very, very crucial to how the markets are going to behave going into year end. So you want to find that stuff out, again, VIP links down below in the description. Now, that being said, we're going to get into the market chart and the Casper news. But before we do, let me get into some questions real quickly, because we have not got through any of them. And yes, Greg's right. By all means, if you enjoy the content, leave a like, share with your friends, subscribe for more. You know what to do. Welcome back, Busy Moon Time. We can only hope, but I think we've got a little bit more to wait for right now. The question for Coin Bureau is, what that organic posting about Kaspa, or was it a tier 1 listing starting to use their marketing department to build hype ahead of a listing? It's a very good question, actually, Greg, truth be told. Was Coin Bureau talking about Kaspa? While it was just a very, very small name drop, but while still talking about it, was that by design, or was that just, again, a recognition of an asset that completely surpassed expectations and went against the status quo? We'll talk about that very, very shortly. I think that's one of the first posts. Yeah, one of the first posts I'm going to be talking about in just a moment. Welcome back, Falco, bro. Hope you're doing very, very well. Bitcoin 1 of the CME chart on TradingView, by the way. Okay, we'll have a quick look at it. Why not? Bitcoin 1. Get sure about this. Oh, that is. This one is. Oh, this one. Right, there. Yeah, we can see, yeah, it's dropping down here to put a partial gap. I mean, yeah, we can see, yeah, I see what you mean for that partial gap here. So yeah, it could hopefully then find support and rebound here. We'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see. But again, right now I do recognize and highlight that there does seem to be a level of support around 91k. You can see rebound there, rebound here, rebound here, rebound here. So 91k does seem to be another level of, well, this level here, 91,700 seems like a level of support. So it's very possible we could see it rebound here. If not, so I should probably draw this box out a little bit further, truth be told. I just drew it out to there. But if not, then we'll probably see Bitcoin retrace back to around 88k down here. Which, again, to build on that, I've mentioned it in the last few streams, but we've got to realize that while markets are terrible, absolutely terrible right now, we have seen these sort of historic corrections quite commonly. Right now, we are down about 27% from all-time highs. Yeah, 27.5% from all-time highs. When you look at the typical corrections you see in Bitcoin historically, before you see that major reversal, you take back from Liberation Day, from January 20th, Trump wouldn't get into election, Liberation Day down here, that's a 30% correction before you see that reversal. Take back to March 2024, you saw Bitcoin make that run up off the back of the first ever ETF filings launched by BlackRock. And then you saw that massive 6-month wait. You saw that big yen carry trade issue as well on August 1st, around the early August time. Another 30% correction before you started seeing the recovery and the rally upwards. You can look all through back history when it's happened. This is an anomaly in the last cycle. But you look at this potential here, the initial rally up before the correction, then for the first top in and last bull cycle, again, another 30% correction. So all I'm highlighting here is that every single time there has been, a pullback before a major recovery, the kind of sweet spot, if you will, doesn't guarantee it's going to happen every time. Again, you can't. It's just something you can also utilize to help decide if you want to DCA where you want to find your bottom in. 30% seems to be the average correction. The most common corrective phase. But even back here, looking back in the 2019 cycle now, that's 20%, so not as much there. You tend to see that corrective behavior, but right here then, look, about 35% or so. And then you see that big run up even here, 26%. So it's just highlighting once more that the markets are terrible, yes, and we could see more pullbacks in the immediate short term, yes, but if you're expecting to see that 30% correction, which is a possibility, and I'm currently looking out for it, then you could very well expect Bitcoin to potentially come back as far as 88, maybe even a little bit further to 83K. Again, it depends right now. It's a very, very heavily hedged on the macro reports we're going to be getting throughout the next few weeks leading into December 10th. And equally a little bit after that with the Bank of Japan as well. But again, to find out more in that regards, check out the VIP live stream roundtable we had earlier today. Welcome back, Go Super. You're doing very, very well. Good evening, Greta. You're doing very well, brother. T8 is a bunch of blah, blah, blah. All these charts and none of you are right. It's always, well, this could have happened and could happen. I mean, yeah, that's ultimately what investing is. It's just these are the potential outcomes. You've got to try and plan for all of them, which is very hard to do. Right now, as I stated, and I'm still standing true on that, I'm holding stable coins. As soon as we lost 98K, I de-risked my portfolio. I didn't sell any Kaspa. Of course I didn't. But I did de-risk a lot of my other positions to the point now where I'm completely out of XRP. I'm completely out of SUI. I'm holding some other ones like Tau, Kaspa, some other ones I spoke to with my VIPs. But I'm out of all my positions right now holding stable coins until I have either we get that 30% correction pullback and I'm like, okay, I'm going to start descending a little bit here, or until I see that confirmed. I would prefer, honestly, to see it can come down to here, maybe even a little bit further, and then we break up to here, and then break above 94K again. Then I'd be more inclined to start looking to get in again. Although in saying that, that's still not, a guarantee reversal sign. We need to probably break above here, at the very minimum, if not definitely 116K before we see the next leg up being a possibility, which when that happens again, it's tough to determine right now. But that's currently my strategy and what I'm planning to do based on the market sentiment and the market chart. But I'm going to, of course, stick with Kaspa. Welcome, Jedi Jason. Thank you so much for the $4.99 donation. I appreciate you. You said Binance replied, in these prices makes me fear no miners will make money, so the massive hash rate drop. Yeah, so actually, well, while you thank you very much for the donation, brother. I appreciate you. We'll talk about that post real quickly. It was kind of a reply here. So basically, Binance US posted earlier today, or even last night, bring back the cyberpunks, which is, crazy to say as much, considering that that's precisely exactly what Son Polinsky was talking about earlier this month, where he called out Binance just saying, you guys have veered off the original vision and goal of crypto. You veered off the original vision and goal of crypto. So, we're not going to acknowledge that. And this post, by the way, has, 2.8 million views. Son Polinsky cooked with this post. Got so much engagement. And Binance US, replies saying, bring back the cyberpunk, which is basically what Son Polinsky was saying here. Now, it could be a shameless engagement farming, knowing that it's very possible, but it also could be the kind of first public recognition that we do accept that we need to get back to, why crypto was invented in the first place, the cyberpunk space, the actual innovation, as opposed to just crypto casino, which is how they've been running their whole shop for a long, long, long time now. So that for me is quite a big deal. And in regards to the hash rate, well, actually, this is going to be on the next post we talk about here. Kaspa Lens highlighted, thanks to the miners keeping the hash rate up, you guys deserve my full respect. You can see here, despite the price, hash rate, of course, rallied as well. And it's been going on a massive, massive, pullback over the years because Kaspa's not profitable. So why would you mine it? Well, have been a set number of convicted miners who have stayed true mining Kaspa despite what's happening. Yes, it's fallen off a little bit, but it's still holding strong, which for me is quite a good indication. And again, those who evidently have very strong belief in Kaspa, I want to at least, at the very least, while not making money so much, uphold the security and decentralized nature of the system, which is great to see. The hash rate staying this strong during the recent capital price drop is honestly impressive. It shows real conviction from miners and real belief in the technology. But at the same time, the community is splitting apart over this new meme style promotion. It's talking again about the new Kaspa Unchained management, which has been a whole dilemma. I don't know if there's some hidden play behind it or whatnot. I really have no idea. I don't think it's that serious, but some people perceive it otherwise because they still perceive Kaspa Unchained as kind of the focal main point for Twitter for Kaspa, which is the biggest Twitter account, but it shouldn't be the main kind of focal point. It should be the community. But I didn't think it was that serious. I made a post about it as well. But I think the fact that even that hash rate staying up strong is good news. And the fact that, Binance US posting about being about Cyberpunk could potentially be that that final acknowledgement, finally acknowledging what Polinsky mentioned, almost 10 days back now. In fact, it was 11 days back, 11 days back, Polinsky made this post. So in almost 2 weeks, it got 2.7, 2.8 million views. That's nuts stuff. Insane stuff. So I hope that answered your question, Jedi. Thank you very much for the donation once more. And I understand why you're being, why you're feeling a little FUD. It's understandable completely. My current positioning and my, I guess, not message to you, but where I'm currently thinking of is Kaspa is not in any troubling waters, or at least not more troubling than anything else. Everything right now is struggling. You've got your exceptions right now as the Beck and Octa seemingly doing well, but everything. Sui is down to 1.59, 1.6. Tao's down to 3.11. XRP is down to 2.12. Everything is down significantly from their local tops, if not from all-time highs. That's from local tops. You're looking from, I don't even think it's an all-time high for HBAR, but even then, for the last top we saw here, 75%, Kaspa is in no different spot to all the other more well-established, bigger projects. So I wouldn't really be I'm not too worried about Kaspa, despite the fact we're almost 80% down, which is crazy to think. I can make the hypothetical assumption that Kaspa would have recovered from now already if the markets weren't so crap, but who's to say that would be the case or not? I think it would be. Right now, Kaspa's been struggling, but I think this is more so a testament to that altcoins have been in a terrible spot, and Kaspa, despite its strong community, it's like any other project. It follows the macro. The macro has been terrible. Why is it going to pump? I know Kaspa did do that way back when here, but this is a different market. It's a different market. 2023, 2024 is not the same as 2025 going into 2026 with institutional adoption. And that's something that we have made that abundantly clear in these streams, and even more so in the VIP as well. Shy say Kaspa could go to 0. That's scary. Yeah, I know why Shy is saying that. It could be part fear mongering. It could be part truthful in his perspective. My stance on it is it's going to be very, very tough. Nothing's impossible, but it is feasibly impossible for Kaspa to go to 0 due to people continuing to uphold security and mining it and scooping up the community conviction, if you will. It'd be very, very difficult, but Shy is really concerned due to the centralized entities who are trying to take it over, namely the KEF, which is something, again, we'll get to a little bit later on, because Shy's been very vocal about that. You haven't got to like Shy. That's not the point here. But Shy's been very vocal about that. And now we have this individual here, James Lee, who I believe is the founder of Kaspa Finance, KFC, one of the other decks that was meant to be coming to Kaspa. And he basically was doing work we're meant to have the backing of the KEF, and it turns out that they weren't backing him at all. They were lying to him. We'll get to that post in a moment, and then we'll cover Shy's perspective of it. You haven't got to like Shy, but the point being is, if some other person now is also raising the exact same concerns as Shy, that could be concerning. Because then it means you could argue that Shy is very emotional. Well, argue. You could say Shy is very emotional and speaks his mind a lot, and that was bad publicity, and therefore is inevitable. You could argue that he's just venting to try and get a little dig at someone. When you have another person, and you're getting more and more people coming out saying these people have done this, they're not trustworthy, makes you start wondering if it was a boy who cried wolf, or whether it was actually the case. Now, welcome back, Double D, bro. You're doing very, very well. I see a recovery. I hope so soon enough, although market's still a little struggling a little bit right now. I look like we might be losing that 91K level, which means we could potentially be coming down to 88, which is something I've been highlighting possible. You giving in, Brett, bro? Great to have you back, brother. Moving average, MACD is at the lowest level since 2021. Daily RSI is about to reverse. As for what will happen in the next 1 to 2 weeks, I think we'll see a significant pump by October 24th. I mean, TA suggests yes, but it does heavily depend on the macroeconomics. If the reports coming out this week are bad, if the earnings coming out miss expectations if the job reports from September that comes out this week either is massively surpassing expectations or massively below expectations? Probably not. Probably not. Again, I did do a lot more in-depth analysis rundown with my VIP community, alongside also this here. This is a real concern for the short term. In the medium to long term, it should be okay. It should be fine. It should be great, actually, because it would mean more money injected into the economy. But in the short term, this will be terrible because it means you're going to see more headwinds, more pressure put on the US economy, more headwinds, and that will therefore drive the sentiment more towards risk off as opposed to risk on. So that's also why this is why it's rallying right now. So whether it will be next week or not, it's tough to say right now. I think the macroeconomics has a lot more impact than the technical analysis right now. I think, if I'm being completely blunt, I would argue right now, besides just looking for where zones could be for support and resistance, TA is almost irrelevant right now. At this current moment in the market, in this current position, I think TA is probably irrelevant because the macroeconomics and the fundamentals have significantly more impact on the financial markets, to the point where, again, apart from judging zones, I don't even care for any of the TA because the zones are enough for me. Don't know who keeps ringing my doorbell. The zones are enough for me, and the macro is what drives the markets. The macro right now is showing a lot of headwinds, therefore we could be coming down more. I did say that November could be a tough month for us, and that is currently panning out. Whether we make a recovery at the end of the month going into December or not, it depends on the next couple of weeks, depending what the reports coming out will suggest. But that's definitely not the time to be stressed, just chill. I mean, yeah, touch some grass. I still don't think we're necessarily out of it just yet. I think we could see maybe a few more weeks, maybe a month or so of pain, but I think the recovery, if the data comes back supporting the theory, then it should be coming back soon enough. Welcome back. I bet I would go buy the dip. I mean, not financial advice, of course, but you do as you will. We're in the pre-bull run phase right now. We're technically in a bull run, but we could be getting that extension right now, which if the way the market's behaving right now, it does lead and open the door for, if we do get the recovery and we get this market extension, it could be longer than expected. Someone's saying Q1 2026, it might be longer because of how much pain we've seen. And then you've got to have the bull run with Bitcoin running. Then you should have the altcoins then running after that. You're going to see, I'd imagine Trump's midterms probably cause some volatility as well in the markets, for better or for worse. So there's going to be a lot to take into account going forward. And that'll also be, May time, Jerome Powell will be stepping down or let go or fired, whatever you want to use. Jerome Powell won't be chair anymore. So that'll also probably cause some from a relief from the market, because people are under the impression that Jerome Powell and the Fed have not acted in accordance and been quite restrictive, hawkish, where they need to be more dovish and more bullish. That's the general sentiment. People just want to see the markets pump. So by all means, the markets could end up seeing more momentum going into 2026, which would be really good. We have to wait and see though. It's going to be like a rubber band, hitting 89k, then moonshot at 45k. Hopefully, wouldn't be too bad to see either. The switch is almost ready. I think we're at the tipping point. That's the institutional sentiment at the tipping point. What that means, price-wise or adoption-wise, we're definitely close. Everyone must think it's over before a moonshot. I mean, yeah. Right now, FUD is at all-time highs, no doubt. It's Christmas, you just opened your Switch 2, Kaspa Moon to the 30 cents, times are good. I cannot get behind a Switch 2, I can't lie. Just purely because of what Sony did in regards to, you haven't got true ownership with your Switch 2. If you do any form of modding, they just completely freeze you out, which is crazy to me. Not that I ever would do that, I never did that sort of stuff, but just the idea that you can't have true ownership of something, that's the whole reason why I'm in Kaspa, so I can have true ownership of my assets. So hearing that Sony did that is crazy. You can't even own your console. Like, what's the point? But that would be a nice Christmas gift, no doubt. Getting a little bit of a respite, a little bit of relief, just chilling with your, touching some grass, chilling, or just doing whatever whilst Kaspa's also mooning. That'd be fantastic. And before I get some more questions though, let me get into some of the content. Welcome back, Crypto Anyway. You're doing very, very well. So to get into some more content, this is the next post I wanted to get into, which I'm hopefully you've got your ears peeled for this. This is the Coin Bureau, the largest crypto content creator, the largest crypto influencer, who made a video recently talking about the bear market situation, but also in this video, just in the 30-second segment, he spoke about Kaspa, which for me, this is very important to listen to. So listen very, very closely here to the Coin Bureau.
That being said though, not every asset plays by those rules. If you rely solely on macro sentiment indicators, you'll miss opportunities hiding in plain sight. Just look at Kaspa, which delivered a 700x return back during the 2022 to 2023 bear market. It completely defied the broader cycle, a reminder that strong fundamentals, an engaged community, and specific catalysts can override macro sentiment entirely.
That, to me, is very, very important, and I'd argue perfectly said. There are cases, while not many and while very unique, there are cases like Casper's where the fundamentals, the community sentiment, and specific catalysts can overwhelm macro sentiment and send the markets up. Kaspa in the 2022-2023 bull run had many big catalysts like the Binance future listings, which added more FOMO. You had Bybit listing, caused a massive god candle from 5 to 15 cents. You had many more projects jumping on board. The KRI was founded, Marathon announced they're mining Kaspa, and they started mining Kaspa in 2023 to September. So you had a lot of very specific catalysts with a project that was pumping in a bear market, which caused a lot of FOMO as well. Macro was not pumping crypto. Crypto was not pumping then. If anything, it was going through a small rally up, if not coming down. Kaspa was pumping as the market. So there are unique situations where following the status quo won't always work. That's why you've got to understand exactly what drives the prices. Where you've got to do research and understanding what is being built and why it matters. That's what Kaspa's about. You got these sort of Binance posts are all fantastic. They'd be great for Kaspa price action, no doubt, but we're not going to necessarily get those. It's not anytime soon. We don't know. What we do know is that Kaspa, given community sentiment and the right catalyst, can still perform very, very well, which is why I'm not too worried about the tier 1 listing, because I can look at posts like this from the KRI and know we're in good hands. I covered 3 documents in my executive roundtable earlier. One of them was an interview, a panel discussion from the World Economic Forum and other world leading institutions who were speaking about the 10 top emerging tech reports and what to look out for going into 2026. One of them being energy. What's the KRI doing with Kaspa right now? That for me, clear connection there. We also spoke about S&P Global Ratings, which also spoke quite clearly about what they're now looking for is the ability to scale these pilot projects into commercial scale adoption. They need to find how to scale it up to real use cases. Again, Kaspa for me the perfect solution to that. And they also went into a deeper dive regarding that confidential McKinsey document, again talking about how scalability is key. So while Sompolinsky and Vlad and others seem to perceive that Kaspa or that scalability is boring, and it is, and it's not really prevalent right now, and that is kind of the case because we're still early in crypto. That's very much apparent. There are institutions out there, massive global minds, who are accepting that this is a big, big deal, and the ability to scale and be decentralized is something that we actually need. I highly encourage everyone from the Kaspa community to read the event report from the DRI Desert Energy last summit, which I have done, and we've gone through this stream already. But this is a huge, huge deal when Kaspa was presented to the biggest industrial leaders worldwide of more than 200 representatives from the biggest companies. They spoke about how the companies at the DRI summit collectively account for hundreds of gigawatts of global energy infrastructure that includes everything from nuclear, gas, wind, and solar capacities managed by giants like Siemens, EDF, Vernova, and Jinko Solar. In total, their footprint easily surpasses 700 gigawatts of installed energy capacity worldwide. That is unprecedented numbers. That's huge, huge stuff there. The KRI wanted to leverage Kaspa for that. And these institutions hearing about that and wanting to know when to buy Kaspa. We talked about energy capacity here. Absolutely huge stuff. That's 20% of the global average electricity consumption here. That's how much these companies control, 20% of the global consumption of energy. How Kaspa wasn't presented as a cryptocurrency, just as a infrastructure tool for delivering a solution to this industrial sector. And also, they spoke about this individual, the Kaspa intern, who spoke about this. Kaspa is about to be positioned as an investment vehicle for a huge set of companies through the introduction of well-known investment funds called Lemon Bush, where you can see the intern Lemon Bush here highlights, I'm currently dealing with incorporation process of Lemon Bush Capital in the United Arab Emirates. Lemon Bush, the firm I represent for the Baltics and Lemon, is an investment advisory firm based in Hong Kong, founded by Dr. Evan Lemon, America's attorney, living in China for over 3 decades, and Neil Bush brother, the son of the former US president. This is just to give you a list of the companies that are in partnership, that work with Lemon. Disney. You've got Goldman Sachs. You've got Meta, formerly known as Facebook. Honeywell. Hasbro. You've got, Visa, the Warner Brothers. You've got some of the Walmart, Netflix, UPS, McDonald's, Starbucks, Nike, Oracle, Morgan Stanley, Pfizer. You've got some of the biggest companies in the world who are working alongside Lemon Bush, who are talking and listening and wanting to learn more about Kaspa. Not to mention the DRI partners themselves. And we looked at that. You've got State Grid, SGCC, State Grid Corporation of China. You've got PwC, you've got Shell, DHL, Hyundai, Bosch, Eons Energy, Siemens. You've got so many other massive institutions who also want to know about that. And at the very end of it, the director to Baltic and Latin America, Lemon Bush, attorney Angel Reyes here, who's the Kaspa intern, said that I'm convinced Kaspa is a powerhouse of innovation, research, and revolutionary tech that will impact the world. But when this tech meets industrial players who spent centuries building the backbone of global infrastructure, that's when the impact becomes exponential. Kaspa's price is terrible. Crypto's price is terrible. The markets are definitely due for more headwinds in the immediate short term, and when the markets reverse, no one has a true indication of when. We have to pay very close attention to the macro sources, so we have an understanding of when the market reversal could potentially come in. As the Coin Bureau highlighted as well, Kaspa can still pump against the status quo, and in the off chance we do go into a bear cycle, there have been some speculating that we'll see Kaspa pump the bear market. No guarantee of that. But at the same time, you've got these institutional players who are going to start hedging into Kaspa through Warp, Core Z, TEX, Gigawatt, Asset Mint, and the other projects we haven't even heard about yet. During a bear market, you might start seeing some price reversals in a time where everything's going to be going down. Now, that's speculative, 100%. We don't know for sure. My whole premise of highlighting this is that I am still remaining bullish on Kaspa. Price was going down. Nothing wrong with Kaspa for price going down. It does definitely put more stress on the miners who are upholding security and decentralized nature of Kaspa. Don't discredit that. I understand that. When you look at every other project in this space, everything's going down. Everything's struggling right now. And you can see that continue for the next few days. This week's going to be quite a big one to determine where we're going to be going. But now, for me, still not time to be bearish on crypto or Kaspa. If you knew the sources that we covered in our VIP, if you understood the kind of significance of this sort of macro and fundamental news as well, there would definitely not be the time to bear us on crypto and Kaspa. If we go into a bear market, maybe. I don't think we are, but let's just say we are for argument's sake. The explosion and reversal from that is going to be by far the biggest we see. Because you've got, again, just to showcase some of these companies who are now looking at Kaspa as well. Disney, Goldman Sachs, Visa, Warner Bros, Netflix, Walmart, UPS, McDonald's, Starbucks, Meta. You've got Nike, all these massive companies, Pfizer and more, who want to start getting some pieces of digital assets and blockchain infrastructure. The market's volatile, still a niche, but it's a growing niche. And you've seen documentation. This talks about how this market is by all means a legitimate asset class. What Franklin Templeton stated. Thank you very much, Gosu, for that. I will look at that off stream. And I listen to it in English subtitles as well. Thank you very much, brother, for that. But yeah, this is again the situation why I still remain bullish on this asset class on Kaspa, because there's not right now the price is terrible across the board, so I haven't got to be bearish on Kaspa as an asset now, because it's not a case of Kaspa being bad, because all crypto being bad. The reversal for me for Kaspa is going to be stronger because it's got strong fundamentals and a community that upholds its status quo. You've got Igra Labs also in the process of releasing their mainnet soon enough. They've had 10 million blocks, processed on the testnet without a single glitch, apparently. And that's insane. We haven't even got the mainnet out yet. This is going to be a very, very big layer 2, I'm hoping. That hopefully will align with Casper's ethos as well. Which now we can go slightly into some questions and then go into the good news leading into the FUD regarding KEF and Casper as well. So before we do, only enough of the people swear it's over. It will turn to extreme greed within months. I think it's already reached there, to be honest, but I still think that reversal is still very possible. Full CME gap has now been filled. Yeah, I think we can still go a little bit further, to be honest, but I have to wait and see. Liquidation heat map shows the future. Again, it's a good indicator, but you can easily see those just plummet below or go right above it. Have to wait and see. SPX, Nvidia, NDQ, the stock market, stock RSI is almost reset daily. The sentiment returns and that crypto follows suit. Yes, although crypto not, the stocks have been continuing to rally, kind of. You know, you should think about October 10th. October 10th is here for stocks. Crypto has been falling since October 10th. And stock has made a rally upwards since then. So they do tend to follow the same thing because they are both risk on. But crypto's going through a lot more struggles right now due to the sentiment just being so low. I know, right? Crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. Hash rate is relative. More people turn off the miners means that ones that still make more money. Yeah, also true. You know, while the hash rate being dwindling more and more, that means more miners are turning off, and it means that there's less competition, so therefore those who are mining actually make more money. So actually it's a give and a take. Welcome back, LB Bridget, and very, very well, brother. Shy but hurt. I need to shut up. Again, I understand the sentiment. You haven't got to like him, but whether you like him or not, this here is James Lee, the founder, I believe, of KFC, Kaspa Finance. And he's now come out also saying KF are just complete scum. Basically is what he said here. And funnily enough, he said this, and the moment he said that, all the lack of, information he had, in regards to communicating with them, apparently he tried to do, they now come out all replying to him. So he's like, oh wow, finally I get a response. All I have to do is just make it public, and then they try and, protect themselves, and then they start talking. So apparently this guy here, we'll get to this in a very short moment, apparently he'd been trying to communicate with the KEF, asking questions in regards to payment and all this stuff. It's not until he makes it publicly known, they then start trying to do, defend campaign. The difference here this time, though, from what I can tell, is they're not slandering James Lee, which is good because he's not done anything. He's had a very, very small presence, to my knowledge. So they've not slandered him. I suppose like they did with Shy. They slandered Shy. Shy got slandered very badly. Maybe justified. Not the point I'm going to get into, and don't even want to touch on that. But the way that KF seemingly acted, James saying, I technically agree with what Shy was talking about them. We'll talk about that's later on, though, in a very short moment. Supposed to go to 0. I have $1 million now. It's not leaving my wallet. Well, that's good to hear, bro. Good to hear indeed. Welcome back, Buffalo, bro. You're doing very, very well, brother. We need all the weeklies to give up to have a real alt season. I mean, that might happen soon enough, honestly. Worst case is if it's still down to the end of the year, you can sell and claim on taxes and then rebuy the next day. Yeah, it's not a bad shout, honestly. Who's Wallet 1? Institution? Binance? No idea exactly who it is. Someone else speculating it's probably a member of the KEF. Not KEF, sorry, the KRI, one of the big institutions, because they want to buy Kaspa, so it could be one of them. I've also heard speculation it could be Begin, the one who went public, so iSliver basically. But I've not done a deep dive into that to properly find out if that's the case or not. Although the sources I've been shown does lead me to believe it's possible, although I've heard other people saying it's probably Wallet 5. Again, we haven't got an idea who exactly it is right now, and even then it's still be speculation, so I have to look into it a little bit more so. Welcome back, Half-Life. You're doing very, very well, brother. Here in Budget, we can't claim losses on a tax bill, although they ask 30% of gains above 10k. Crazy stuff. Yeah, tax is just theft. I agree. People can't still accept they got screwed in crypto. Well, no. I understand the sentiment right now. The price has been terrible, but it depends again. If you're thinking about it on the broader perspective, no. Like, we are still very, very early. And I mean, I guess just to respond to that statement, I will show the document I've already showed on stream from Franklin Templeton here. Franklin Templeton, $1.5 trillion asset manager, one of the biggest institutions in the world. They're here saying the compelling case for crypto right now to give one of the reasons. Reason number 3, investors who ignore digital assets are essentially making an active call to underweight what is now a new legitimate asset class. It's going to go through headwinds. It's going to go through bad times. Anything does. But this market is a legitimate asset class now. It's just going through some growing pains, as the Kobe letter said earlier. We're going through the exact same growth we saw the internet in the early days. The exact parallels right now. So, you know, just because the price is down doesn't mean we're screwed by any means. Lots of macro data from the Fed this week. Yeah, that's going to be very important, no doubt. Welcome back, sweet Anna. You're doing very, very well. Good to have you back. These are all in cahoots. Either they're going to suppress it because it's a threat or blast off to the moon. Yeah, manipulation is a part of life, unfortunately. Foolish doomers always claiming crypto is dead. It's died about 300 times. Yeah, it always happens, but, you know, better to address it with facts than just to, you know, ignore it and let that stew for a little bit. Anyways, now get into the actual FUD part, which, just to reiterate before I get into the FUD, the KEF is not Kaspa. They are two separate, and I'm going to, big screen it. The KEF is not Kaspa. If the KEF start acting in bad faith, that's terrible, and it will in fact impact Kaspa price action. It will negatively impact Kaspa price action, but Kaspa is a layer 1 protocol. The KEF is an institution trying to leverage that technology. Kaspa can do whatever and be fine. The KEF needs Kaspa to survive. So let's make that clear. This FUD, while FUD and not good, is not a negative on Kaspa. It's negative of the KEF and how they go about their business. So before off here, James Lee said that we are proud to announce our gift to the ecosystem built by us, funded by us, definitely not by the KEF, little shot there, who somehow managed to contribute absolutely nothing except plot twists and comedy value to the ecosystem. They built the CasperBridge.com. IGRA and Casplex now can bridge to BNB chain. So we're now seeing more elements of interoperability. You've already got it to EVM, so Ethereum. Now you're going it to BNB. That's pretty cool. Well, it's a new multi-chain EVM bridge connecting. So you're going to be able to connect to, Ethereum chains and also now to BNB as well. Very, very good stuff all in all. With support ready for over 30 chains. 30 to 40 chains, more chains. So that's great, great stuff here. Hopefully this is completely legit. I mean, I assume to be legit. And this is going to, again, help Kaspa in its interoperability, be able to connect to more chains. And then when the reports come out, it'll be even better as well, because everything will be able to be truly self-sovereign on Kaspa as well. We launch a community pool soon, so you can decide which EVM networks to connect next. No politics, no gatekeepers, just progress. That's good. Love to hear that. And IGRA said here, another ecosystem team shipping infra. KEF just rolled out the testnet EVM bridge for IGRA Casplex. Good to see more efforts pushing connectivity forward. Great stuff all around. Why is there a little dig here at KEF? Well, let's get into it. This is off the back of the post from the Kaspa Unchained account where James Lee has said that this honestly reminds me of my dealings with the KEF and Johnny. Same level of chaos, same level of nonsense. Basically talking about why the stupidity of the Kaspa Unchained account right now, which I think is almost a nothing burger, but some different views of it. James is here saying that this stuff happening right now is my own experience with the KEF, the same level of just stupidity right now. Absolute mayhem. So here's the rundown. Full transparency. Back in February, March 2025, the KEF initially told us we'd receive a $1 million Kaspa grant and had us fly out to Hong Kong to finalize the deal and support marketing. Later, that story shifted. It became 300,000 USD investment. And on top of that, we were told to expect $2 million in Kaspa liquidity. Johnny even said on call, you just need to trust me. Biggest mistakes ever there. Just get it in writing, get the contract signed, never just get trust me. That's terrible, terrible stuff. After a month of working together, he signed an SAFT. We sent over our wallet address for payments, and then everything just went quiet. Johnny was trying to dictate to us that we should just basically humiliate 3 such capital and can them. We don't work like this, and we didn't do anything wrong by anyone. And then they also came to the understanding that Johnny and his secret bot actually is Oyster Lee. So apparently Oyster Lee is Johnny's boss. Again, that's his words. Whether you take it or not is up to you. And apparently they decided to cut him off after they added 3 such capital to the cap table. But no one actually communicated that to us. They spoke to Oyson Lee in Singapore and explained what happened. He also promised to ask Johnny to communicate with us again. Absolute silence again. Nothing happened with the KF at all. Nothing for 6-7 months. Absolutely no commitments, no communication, nothing at all. And then as soon as he mentioned that, then you get a response from the KF saying, we're sorry about your experience. However, please note that we are not informed of your partnership with Research Capital. We publicly stated against public token sales, yada, yada, yada. Also, Oyson Lee, boss of Begin Blockchain, and our server, therefore, is not secret boss for KEF. And he said, well, finally a response. Just to clarify a few things, Research was not running a token sale at any point. And yes, Johnny and the team were fully informed when they joined our cap table. This is part of the debate. When I met Oyson in person at Token 2049, he told me that he was your boss. Again, it's still one word against another. You want to choose whether you want to trust James Lee or the KF and Johnny, therefore. But he's saying, I wouldn't just imagine a conversation like that. I don't see why he would either, but again, that's up for you to determine. Either way, he just spoke about it here about, this ridiculousness, if you will, and how Johnny was fully aware there was no token sale involved. And he said, I can even provide more receipts, yada, yada, yada here. KF approached us to ask to build us KFC, and then they just basically just ditched us. So he said, builders beware, basically. And then Johnny even replied here saying, nudging my secret boss usually won't help. Charge for to do the same thing as well. Just makes things worse. So he basically, that's almost kind of like that to me is not good at all. Him saying, so he basically said message to all the Casper community by nudging, by acting Oyson Lee, my secret boss, that won't help or make things worse. Shai did it, and look where he's got to. So that's a threat. I'm sorry, that is a threat. If you're saying if you act Oyson Lee and complain to him about it, it'll make your life worse, that's not good. Don't see how that's ever good. And then to reply to him, he said 100%, Mr. Hans received his money, don't worry about him, focus on your project, sir. And he said, I didn't know you only reply in public, or I would have hit you up on here months back. Just focus on your work ethic. Again, it's frustrating. It's frustrating as an investor, and also, to be honest, just as a person. As someone who I have my own morals, what I stand for, what I believe in, this level of this frustrates me. It frustrates me a lot, and it makes me also think: was Shai right? Because Shai has been saying the same thing for a long, long time, and he went through the exact same thing when the KF ditched his book work in his project. Now, again, whether you like Shai or not, it's not the point. I don't care if you like him or not. I choose to still trust Shai. I think he is maybe a bit too opinionated, but again, each their own. But I do choose to trust Shai and his intellect. What James just said here is exactly what Shai warned people about. And now, 6-7 months later, it's come to fruition. It's happened again. I don't know how many people this happened to. Don't know if it's got more potential going on, but this is a concerning thing. It's concerning that the KF has acted in this manner. To me, it's frustrating as well, beyond frustrating. KF was, what's the term you used it for? When the Mexi had the whole, like that campaign of people to try and lessen the damage. I've got the term for it now, but the same thing what Mexi did when they had that, the calling out of their bad activity, and they then basically tried to, protect themselves, if you will. KF then said, thanks James Lee and his team for building the CasperVisualizer.com. We now regret to inform the community that they're no longer affiliated with us. That came out after his post by a few hours. So, only took for the public announcement from James for them to respond to that. Again, not good management at all, in my opinion. They're not part of the portfolio. Casper Bridge and KFC are not backed by us. You should be fully aware of risks by using any swap bridge themselves and bear the consequences. Absolutely correct, although the management has been messaged is going forward is a bit odd to me, but hey ho. And so on and so forth here. And then Johnny also made a post here talking about, glad to see the KFC is contributing to the Casper ecosystem still. He's absolutely correct. KFC is not implementing a $500,000 USD investment we promised to sign in our signed SAFT. I was honestly expecting a notification letter from the law firm more than these engagements. So yeah, he's now saying I was expecting to get a lawsuit as opposed to a public outing. But apparently James has said he is going to be talking to his legal team either way. Goes on more and more. Again, I'll link all this stuff down below in my, or not down below, so I'll link it all in my Discord community, just so everyone has the transparency to look through themselves. If I'm going to be transparent right now, and this is going to be, I'm trying to find the right words to say, because I don't have the full story. I wouldn't in these conversations, so there's only so much I can say. I can't say who I want to trust, because I don't have all the receipts, so it'd be unfair for me to do so. All I'm going to highlight, though, is it's not the first time that this has happened with the KEF now. First time was Shy. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. I'm not going to say KF are at fault here. But if the KF are listening, why is this happening again? Either you're choosing bad people to collaborate with, or you're acting in bad faith. Either way, it can't happen. It shouldn't happen. It's going to lose faith for the community for you. No one's going to want to use Casplex because it's an extension of the KEF. I don't want to. I'm scared of using Casplex. I don't want to. I don't want to smear campaign Casplex. I think the developers and the understanding of having a layer 2 on it, I think the Casplex, I want Casplex to be good. Same, I want Igor to be good. This is not good to see. Why are we seeing this? And why is it taken for, James Lee to publicly out you before you then start trying to protect yourself and then, damage control? That's it, damage control. Why have you not done this properly and privately? Which apparently James said he tried to and he didn't respond to you, only when it's public. It's not good enough. Whether it's Shy is right or not, I don't know, and I don't really care. I don't want this to keep happening because it's so unethical. It's so wrong. And this also, I'll be honest, one thing I will say is my trust for Johnny is dwindling. Because he responded in a very similar manner to Shy, which people don't like anyways. And then this post here, for me, sums it all up as well. Whether you like it or not, that is a threat. Nudging my secret boss usually won't help if you think I have a negative attitude. Shy tried this before. It usually makes things worse as I do things at KF. He doesn't. Okay, maybe not a threat, but he's just saying, just leave him alone. I don't know. I think the KF need to rethink their business strategy and come at things in a more transparent light and more work ethic. Because right now, whatever trust I have with the KF has dwindled quite a lot. Especially after hearing this. The only thing I could be hopeful for right now is that I'm not seeing any smear campaigns of James from the KF executives or the KF team. That's the only thing I could be happy about. Not that it should be, because I haven't heard anything about James besides him just being someone who's just committed to trying to work more for Kaspa, which is fantastic. Shy's an easy target. I can see where you can make digs at Shy, but James, I don't see how they could. But either way, it's not good enough. It's not good enough. And James, yeah, I completely agree here. So that's my 2 cents on the matter. If you want to read through the whole posts, I will post them in my Discord community. My free Discord server, links down below in the description. And hopefully we can talk about it. I just don't know. It's frustrating to me because I don't. Why? Now to kind of cap on that, or to kind of wrap it all up. Again, the KF is not Casper. If the KF want to act in bad faith, if they are an entity trying to leech off Casper, which it's increasingly looking like that, I don't want to say it's the case, but right now, that's not good. Twice now. Twice. KF is not Casper. Casper is not either KEF. Not by any means. I'm more bullish on the KRI. I have always been more bullish on the KRI and what they have built, the partnerships they have, which they've been more transparent. As much as they can be, because they have NDAs, which is understandable as a corporation. But you can see they've been a lot more, to me, they've been a lot more transparent than the KEF in regards to what they're trying to build and the institutions they're trying to build it with. Whether they're controversial or not, we don't know. And for me, either way, is why I can still be happy in regard to holding Casper, because KF is not Casper. They're going to act in bad faith, and so be it. Hopefully the community will learn that, or maybe not learn that because it's not guaranteed that's the case, but if it comes to be factual, the community will learn that and shun them out, as we should. And that just comes out to just not using or interacting with them at all. And tier 1 listings will be beneficial, of course, and Binance US technically acknowledging Tom Polinsky here is quite cool. We'd like to believe. KRI, I think, will be a bigger catalyst than tier 1 listings, and they'll be missing out on the level of institutional adoption and the trillions of dollars of capital that will be coming through to Kaspa. With these institutions want to utilize Kaspa for energy markets, cross-border payments, and the whole works. That being said, family, that does conclude today's Kaspa Crypto live stream. If you enjoyed, leave a like, share with your friends, subscribe for more. More headwinds are possible, but I still think we have potential tailwinds and momentum going forward as well. Let me know what you think down below in the comments, and equally in the Discord community, your thoughts on all of this stuff. I'll link all the posts down in the community as well. If you want to find out more information, check out the free community, equally the VIP, a lot more in-depth analysis in there as well, and institutional sources. Again, you know where to find it. That being said, family, have a great day, good evening, and good night. Welcome, Mr. Miles. Definitely first as always, nailed it. Yeah, I agree, Buffalo. I agree. I agree. But yeah, all stream, yeah. If you enjoyed, leave a like, and I'll see you all in the next one. Take care now.